Okay, so this has been a long time coming. Today I'm going to take the top and the doors off of the 4Runner. Now, what a lot of people don't know is these doors were actually made fully removable from the factory on the first generations, easier than a Jeep, no bolts needed. So come check it out for this door. Now, if you guys will notice, you might need to come in here a little bit closer and look right in this here crevice. Right here, you're gonna see a pin, a clevis pin. All you gotta do is pull out this little, pull this guy out, and then you just pull the pin out and the doors will completely come off. Now that was factory, easier than Jeep, okay? I'm gonna get in here. Rotate our bolts. So we've got the little pin out, and then just gonna tap out this guy. Should be able to just pull it out now. Go, and then tap out that guy, and then you're gonna we're gonna do the same thing with the bottom hinge pin here, but you're gonna want to have someone hold the actual door for you if you can, or put a jack under it, because it's gonna want to tweak the hinges. But that's pretty much it. Bottom one is out. Boom. Who says you need Jeep Wrangler to go doorless and topless? It's overrated. Yoda. So here's the little pin we're gonna pull out, cotter pin, and then we're gonna drop the clevis pin out. This one's gonna come out the bottom. Do the same with the bottom. Knock out this little, I think it's like a door stopper, and then the door just pops right out. So now I'm gonna need to get in here. Just like that. No door. Turn in here first. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind when you take the doors off, there's this little button here that controls a light on your dash. So when the doors open, that light will be on. This isn't pushed in. When you shut the door pushes this little button in. Now, you can go about it one of two ways, because if you leave it just like this, you'll have a light on your dash and it'll kill your battery after a little while, depending on how often you drive. So one of two options. You could put some duct tape over this to hold it down. I tried that for a little bit, but after a day or so, the duct tape would just unstick and it would push it back out. It's got a pretty tough spring behind it. You could unbolt this and actually take it out. Or it's gonna be the same thing on the driver's side. So on the other side, there's a panel just like this. And if you actually unbolt this panel, take it off, you'll see the electrical wire connection that goes to this little button. All I did was unplug it. It's a simple male-female spade connector. It just goes right in like that. I just unplugged mine, so now this light doesn't work at all. This little button and then lights up the dash, it never works even when I have the doors on or off. But that way it keeps my battery from dying. So that's pretty much it. Keep that in mind. Okay, so obviously that wasn't factory. Toyota's hinges don't just slide a pin out and come off like that for the doors, but it is pretty straightforward. I actually made these quick release pins for the doors, and it's really easy how you do it, so I'll show you right now. Here's a stock hinge that I got from a junkyard. It matches up to what you'd have on your, pickup, first generation Toyota 4Runner, or the pickups from that year. I think it's 84 to 89 for the 4Runner and 88 for the pickup. The hinges might be the same after that. I think it will all apply, but either way, it's gonna bolt onto your the body of your car like this, and then this end is gonna be attached to the door. So the door is gonna swing open and shut like this. All I did, you could do this on the truck or you could do it off the truck. I'm showing you off the truck so it's easier. I did mine on the truck, but this is what it looks like. All you have to do is open up your door, get a saw in here or an angle grinder, whatever, cut this pin in half, and then I stuck a screwdriver in it. Once it's cut, you stick a screwdriver, you wedge it in there, and then tap it with a hammer slowly. And these are brass bushings up here, so it'll just slide right out. It'll start to separate, and the pin will actually come out the top. And it'll start to separate. And then once you get it separated enough, you can stick it one way and hammer it out. And then once the top's out, you can hammer it out, knock the bottom out. And then your door will just come off once you do that to both hinges, as well as remove that door stop. Then after that, the beauty of it is this is a 5/16 clevis pin, so it's really standard. I bought this at Orchard Supply. You can get it at Ace. You can find it at Home Depot. Mine are a little bit longer. If you can get them, I think 2 1/4 I think would be perfect inches. These are 3, but 2 doesn't quite work because you don't have enough room to fit through both hinges. So you need above 2. 3 works for me. You just got to wiggle it around a little bit more. But 2 1/4, 2 1/2 would be perfect if you can find a clevis pin like that. So then once you knock that out, all you got to do is have someone hold your door back up, line up the hinges, and then just slide this right in through the top, and that'll replace this little factory pushed in bushing or pin. And then you just slide in this guy and it'll lock it into place so it can't come out when you're driving. And then you'll keep the factory fit. One thing to look out for is those brass bushings that I was talking about. You'll see them right there, right at the tip of the screwdriver. And then it'll also be inside these hinges. That you do not want to knock it out. Make sure you keep that in place. If you need to, put some WD-40 on it to help it slide out, or some PB Blaster penetrating oil. I'm in California, so I don't really have rust issues, but if you do, make sure you keep that factory bushing. Don't mess it up at all, because that's what's going to give you that factory door fit feel when you put your door on and off every time. So that's pretty much it.
Go.
Okay, now we're gonna take the top off. I just removed my roof rack, but I mean most people probably don't have a roof rack on there, so you don't have to worry about that. Now it's just gonna be a bunch of 12mm bolts all around the side. I've got just a 12 regular, and I've got a wobble socket for some of the bolts because I'm gonna use a little impact gun just to make it go quicker. And I actually don't have all the bolts in right now because I had this top off earlier, and then I kind of unforeseen went on a snowboarding trip and had to throw the top on really quick last winter. So I don't have all the bolts on, but what you're looking for, there's gonna be, you may or may not have the trim piece, but there'll be a trim piece that sits on this that goes over top of all this. That'll make it look a little bit cleaner. And it'll go all the way up to the top. You just pull that out. There's a couple little small screws. Then after that, there's going to be a bunch of bolts like this one. There'll be one back here. It's 12. It's a 12mm. And there's gonna be another one up here. You'll have another one up here. You'll have some more up here, up there, and then you'll have 4 across the top. They're covered by little plastic covers if you still have them. Most people probably don't, or they broke off. And then after that, the only other thing you're gonna wanna watch out for is don't lose any of your bolts, but then there's gonna be an electrical connection and then a windshield wiper, a water line that runs through right here. It pretty much comes through down in here. The bladder bag for the rear windshield sprayer is right back here. And that's gonna run up through here and then attach. You just unplug that, and then there's the electrical connection for your windshield wiper, your actual motor for the tailgate window. That'll be a different set of wires that run through the bottom. But that's it, just unplug that, and then we'll go ahead and take off all these bolts here. I think one of them might be a certain length and a certain size that goes in one of these sides over here that holds in the relay for your tailgate motor. But my tailgate wasn't working when I first bought it, so I just got rid of all those wires, and I ran my own switch all the way to the back here that goes up to the cab, so I don't have to worry about any of the factory relays or anything like that. I just have a switch in the front of my truck that controls it. see. Yeah, me too. I set the up. So actually